Okay, so continuing with the 2019 past paper for AQA International GCSE Comp Sci. Excuse me. So it's a new day, and it's a little bit earlier than I was making these videos last night, so hopefully less silly mistakes. Another thing I've done is I've changed out my keyboard, so hopefully it won't be so loud when I'm tapping, not using a mechanical keyboard. So we're on question 8, which is the first of section C. And these are the last few questions are the ones that are targeted towards grade 7, grade 8, even grade 9 students. They're always going to be the hardest. So don't worry in the exam, at least in the mock exam, if you perhaps don't fully complete all of the questions. These are the questions that are there to challenge. So let's see what it says. The point system used to decide the winner of the game is to be changed. After being shown their hands, before the game starts, one of the players is randomly chosen to predict how many rounds of the game they will win. At the end of the game, and before the result of the game is displayed, the rounds actually won by that player are compared to the prediction. If the prediction was correct, then 1 is added to their points total. If the prediction was not correct, then 1 is subtracted from their points total. So this is like in a game, you kind of bet on, you say how many you're going to win. It's like a kind of common thing in card games. Okay, what do we need to do? Create a new subroutine called get bonus point round. So like I've said before, 1 mark for doing this. So even if you don't understand how to do the question, just pick out small parts that you think you can do. So above the main function, I'm going to define a new subroutine with the name that they've given me. So what should it do? It should randomly select one of the 2 players. The probability is the same of either player, asks the player to predict how many rounds they will win, and returns the prediction and information about which player made the prediction. All right, so what I should probably do is use the random library. Let's make a random number. So player, let's use the same naming pattern. Player is going to be random between 0 and 1. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if player is 0, then let's change the name of that variable. Let's call it which player. And let's say player predicting is player 1. And then let's say else going to be player 2. Okay, so that's a way to randomly select a player, and then we need to ask the player to predict how many rounds. So let's put that in a state in the output. We're going to say player, how many rounds will you win? And we're going to format into this the player predicting variable. And what they're going to do is they're going to input, and they are going to input a number. So let's say number of rounds equals int input. And they might not be asking us to do this at this stage, but let's put in some validation. So you can't say the minimum number of wins is going to be 1, so we won't be able to get a number lower than 1. So let's put that in there. Minimum is 1. Will that work? Yeah, minimum is 1. Oh, and then to match the format of the other questions, we want to put like the new line in as well. Now in the function, we need to return those 2 bits of data. So the prediction and the information. So return number of rounds and also player predicting. Okay, so we finished that first task. Now we need to change the main subroutine. So after the hands have been displayed, the get bonus point rounds function subroutine is called. So after the hands have been displayed. So we do that, and then we play display hands at start of game. We need to do it here, so let's get number of rounds player predicting, I'm just going to use the same variable names, equals get bonus point rounds. There are no parameters. This function doesn't need anything coming in, but it does give back these two values. After the game is finished, but before the result is displayed, it compares the prediction with the actual number of rounds won by player and either adds or subtracts 1 from the points total. That's okay. So then what we get is once the game has been played, let me just make this a little bigger. Once the game has been paid, we get these variables. So then we're going to need to do a little if statement here to say, okay, if the predicting player, sorry, that's not the name of the variable, if the player predicting was equal to player 1 and, well, let's not use and, let's do a little if statement here, then we need to check if number of rounds, to make that clear, I might change the name of that variable to number of rounds predicted, or number of wins predicted, maybe. Number of wins predicted. So it doesn't matter if I change the name of the variable in this scope, I can still call it something different inside that, because it just makes a copy. When you pass it in, it makes a copy, and when you return it back, it also just makes a copy. If number of wins predicted is equal to player one rounds 1, that means they get a bonus point. So maybe either adds or, okay, so then we've got points, player 1 points, plus 1. If they didn't get it right, then we need to do player 1 points minus 1. Let's just put in some print statements. I haven't read task 3 yet, or part 3 of this task 3, but I presume it's going to be something like this. So you predicted correctly. Let's change this to you predicted incorrectly. So now I could have the same block of code again. So yeah, I think to keep it simple, we'll just do it like that. So now we're going to use an else clause. So if it wasn't player 1 predicting, then we need to do the same thing, because it must have been player 2, but we need to check for player 2 rounds 1. And obviously that change will affect player 2 points. Okay, task 3. Okay, so we need to test it with a prediction of 1 round with 3 cards in the round. Okay, let's do this. Let's run. And there will be 3 cards in each player's hand. Tell us what to set as the trump suit. No, so it doesn't specify. Let's put P. Okay, let's go again. E. Enter. Oh, crash. So I've made an error. So why have I made an error? I'm trying to access random, but I haven't imported random directly. I've imported the random library. So that was the wrong syntax. Let's just make that correction. I need to say random.random instead. Okay. So let's close the shell so we get a nice clean screenshot. Let's do it again. There'll be 3 cards. Let's go for P. Look away. Enter. Enter. Okay, how many rounds? Player 2. Let's press enter. And let's choose a card for player 1. So let's say 6 of triangles. So 6T. Oops, T6 rather. And player 2 is going to win. So player 2 is going to use 10T instead, or T10 rather. Oof. Now we've got an error. If bonus points is equal to 0. Ooh, okay. So this was my amendment to the task the exercise that I did yesterday. I made some changes to make it a little bit simpler, but it seems that we need to declare this variable here instead. All right, let's try that one more time to see if we can get it to work. There's going to be 3 cards. Let's go for P. Let's pick the worst card. Oh no, let's pick the best card because player one is playing. So the best card is 6 of C. So let's go for C6. And player 2 is going to play a worst card, which is H6. Is that a worst card? Oops, not H6. Don't have H6. S6. Okay, player 1 won that round. Oh, but the rounds have not finished yet. So now let's make it so player 2 wins the 2 further rounds. And then we can test whether the functionality we've just added works correctly. So player 2 is going to pick TH, that's right. And player 1 is going to pick C5. So player 2 won that round, and now player 2 has, an improvement would be to show your hand as it changes. Let's try 3P or P3. And now player 2 hopefully will be able to win this by playing what's left. H6, no, S6. Is it H6? No, is it S6? No. What have we got left? Oh, TH. HT, sorry. HT is the card. No, it's not. What cards has player 2 got left? We've got S6, T6, TH, S6, T6. T6 is the one we're looking for. Oh, but it ended up with player 1 winning, sorry. Okay, but we can see something's happening here. So projected incorrectly. So player 1 didn't get any points, and player 2 scored half a point. So what did the question say on the paper? It said, it does not matter how many rounds the player actually wins. The points totals for each player should be shown. Okay, so let's take the evidence there. No, I haven't opened the EAD. Just bear with me a second. Okay, so we're doing question 8, the second to last question. And this is the first screenshot. And we're going to put in the next one now. Just this one. And then the next one. So quite a lot of screenshots with this one. Go for that, but mainly because I kept entering the cards incorrectly. So where are we? Up to P3, and then the final screenshot. Good. And now onto the code. So I would always do the screenshots first. time permitting, obviously, because the screenshots confirm that your code is finished, and then you're ready to copy your answers in. So, that was actually 8.3. Okay, so don't worry about this again, but the EAD that I've got doesn't perfectly match up, but yours definitely will in the exam. Let me just add another question in. So 8.1 is the evidence of the function to get bonus points. So let's just copy and paste that in as text. And 8.2 is evidence of main. So let's now get main and let's put that in. Okay, question 8 finished.